We're nearly there, ladies and gentlemen, and first of all, Mr. Tony Elliott would like to say a few words. They were originally words of welcome, and I'm sure they still are.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I've been looking at the weather, and I'm thinking how lucky we were, and I realised how we did it. All we've got to do is invite two vicars with connections. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my absolute privilege and pleasure to welcome you all here this afternoon. Where would we be without you? But not only to welcome you, but to say some thank yous, because we do have some thank yous to say, and we say them very sincerely. It was way back in February that we had a Legion committee meeting, and under any other business, Richard said, well, how about a memorial to these gallant Americans who were killed when the flying forces bomber landed. And being under any other business, everyone was sort of waiting to go home. But afterwards I thought about it and I said to Richard, well, are you serious, Richard? And he said, of course I was serious, why not? So I said, okay, we'll see what we can do. And then the first thing we did was arrange a meeting with Jim Waldron here and Peter Delaney. Jim Waldron, you know why, and Peter Delaney from the History Society. And we were a team of four, and we remained a team of four. And you know, people often heard me say that when you throw a pebble into the pond, you never know where the ripples are going to finish. Well, the four of us, we soon found out that we'd thrown a boulder into a lake and the waves just went everywhere. We had to say where, who, why, how. And one thing I'd like to say and why I've got so many thank yous is that it was so encouraging. Everyone we contacted, they were so positive, encouraging and supportive. We had to decide where would the memorial go, where would it be best sited. And we hit upon the idea of Hennerton Golf Club. Well, do you really think I'm let it go there? So the first contact was with Peter Hearn, and Peter immediately, as I say, positive, encouraging and supportive. Peter says, yes, that's fine. And Peter, we are so grateful. And the next thing we thought, well, we'll contact our local Member of Parliament, who just happened to be the Home Secretary. And immediately again, we had a terrific response from the Home Office. Right up and, well, I'll let you, just up to 4 days ago, we had Theresa here for lunch. And 4 days ago, had a phone call from their office and said, oh, Tony, Jennifer Charlie said, oh, Tony, she said, I'm afraid Theresa will have to leave by 2:30. So we had a word with them here. Do you reckon we'll be doing that? It'd be a bit tight, but she might just get through 3 courses. 3 days ago, he said, oh, I'm sorry, Tony, but Theresa's got to leave by 2 o'clock. Oh, well, she may have to miss out on the pudding then. 2 days ago, they said, oh, she's got to leave at 1:30. Oh, well, we arranged with the staff here that she would just have a starter. One day, I got 2 days ago, then they said, I'm sorry, she's got to leave at 1 o'clock. So in a way, that solved all our problems. I was waiting for a phone call yesterday to say that she wouldn't be here, but she was here, and that's the sort of, really, the cooperation we got. And she was determined to come here. Reading between the lines, I got the impression that they were trying to talk her out of it, but she came here, and we're very grateful for that. Who else could we contact? Well, it's American memorial, so we got in touch with the American Embassy. And Richard starts at the top and works his way down, but we stayed at the top. And we're so pleased. And it's so pleased, Dieter, that we're welcome here today from the Defense Attaché. And again, your office has been so cooperative, and I thank you so much for that. things were going all right, and suddenly we realised that we need a band and a bugler. Oh, what do we do about that? And someone suggested that we contacted Shiplake College, and that was great because we did want to involve the Shiplake side of the river because the crash came down actually near a Shiplake and Wargrave plane crash. And tentatively emailed home and got in touch with Shiplake College. And you know what I'm going to say, immediately the response was positive, encouraging and supportive. And Greg, we do thank the college so much for your support and cooperation, and the boys were magnificent. I think you may know, but we've been in touch with the families, the descendants of the family, in particular, 3 nephews of the pilot, and the Americans. They are absolutely thrilled that we are doing this, and we're getting a bundle of stuff like the menus and the photographs and the video, and we're going to send it to them, and they are absolutely over the moon that something is being done, and it's so pleasing. It's hard to exaggerate just how much it means to those American families, and it makes it all worthwhile. It's just sad that they couldn't be here. Keep the show on the road. Sunrise Serenader. Could anything be more American? I don't know about you, but I think it's wonderful. Keep the show on the road. It's the 384 Bomber Group motto. Keep the show on the road. I think it's magnificent. But you know, in Wargrave we had one of our own who kept the show on the road. He was a lad, a 14-year-old lad who happened to witness this terrible incident. And years later, this young lad researched what had happened, and the result, he's a professional illustrator and artist, and he produced this wonderful illustration of the final flight of the bomber. And also from the other side of the river, there was a young girl who witnessed the crash, and it's remained vividly in their memories ever since. And Jim and Mary, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your report. Years, my friends, I've been involved with memorials, I've been involved with honours boards, I've been involved with books of remembrance. And it may surprise you to know that every time people have said to me, Tony, why do you bother? What's it all about? Why do you drag up the past? Why do we want to think about all these horrible things that happened in the past? Why don't we just move on and forget it? And I don't know about you, but in a way I feel sorry for them, because they fail to realise that remembrance is just as much about the future as it is about the past. It was Edmund Burke, the famous philosopher, who over 200 years ago said the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men should do nothing. Well, I would suggest to you that all we in this room are so lucky because we have had good men and good women who were prepared to do something. And that is why we enjoy our freedom and lifestyle today. And I'll put it to you, we must never forget, and we must always remember and be grateful. And to me, that is why we need books of remembrance. That is why we need honours boards. And that is why we need memorials, such as the one that has been unveiled today. And I leave you, friends, it can be summed up, what I'm saying, in the words, the simple words, the so beautiful words of the Kohima epitaph. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave out today. Thank you.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, General Dieter Bareihs. He tells me I must pronounce it. Over with you, Dieter.
Thank you, Richard. I like this crowd because you're clapping and you haven't even heard what I'm going to say. Very nice. My lords, my ladies, gentlemen, distinguished guests, it's a real honor and a pleasure for myself and Master Sergeant Grindstaff to be here today. I'm mindful of the fact that I think I'm one of the last things here between you and the rest of your day, so I will try to keep it brief. But I do want to cover just a couple things. You know, 2 days ago we celebrated Remembrance Day, and we remembered not just those who gave their lives in the Great War, but all of those in the armed services who made the ultimate sacrifice. Today we look out over the fields and we remember Sunrise Serenader and the 10 crewmen, and more importantly, more specifically, the 9 airmen who gave their lives and who gave all on that day 71 years ago to this very day. Those young men, sons, brothers, fathers, they were part of the greatest generation. And they were fighting for freedom in what I think is some of the darkest hours in the history of our two countries. And they, like so many others, made the ultimate sacrifice. And so we should be grateful, and like Tony said, we need to remember. You know, there were 40 bomb groups in 8th Air Force. They flew over 10,600 missions in B17 and B24 aircraft. Over 4,100 of those aircraft never came home. So that's over 41,000 crew members that either died or were captured during World War II. That's just from 8th Air Force. There were 57,000 in RAF Bomber Command who made the ultimate sacrifice. So those numbers are really mind-numbing. But we shouldn't focus on those numbers. Today, we're here to remember the crew members of Sunrise Serenader, but I think we should also celebrate. We should celebrate, and Tony alluded to it a little bit, we should celebrate the interdependence of the United States and the United Kingdom. Today, just like in 1943, you know, the problems of this world are diminished when we tackle them together. When looking for an institution that embodies the special relationship, that term first coined by Sir Winston Churchill in 1946, one needs to look no further than the United States and the United Kingdom military services. 1943, then, just like today, airmen from the United States and from the United Kingdom worked side by side in pursuit of a common goal. In fact, American and British forces have fought side by side for nearly a century now. And I know for myself, I fought and flown alongside, worked with airmen from the RAF from my first deployment to the Gulf region and every deployment since. So some talk about how our military services are interoperable and we work well together. But I think we're really interdependent. It's that teamwork, it's the tenacity and the audacity displayed by the crewmen of Sunrise Serenader and so many others like them. And as we honor that service and sacrifice, we shouldn't forget the families and the spouses of those who wear the uniform. They sacrifice too. They serve as well. And it's the support that they give, you know, in mining the home front, the support they give to the men and women in uniform that really lets us go do our job. So we shouldn't forget them. To the men and women of Wargrave, especially to the Royal British Legion, to Mary and Jim, Mr. Tony Elliott, Mr. Richard Butler, everyone else who had a hand in, you know, turning this idea of a memorial into reality, thank you. Thank you from the United States government. This monument will ensure that the crew members of Sunrise Serenader, like Tony said, will never be forgotten. This monument is a fine tribute to those airmen. It's also a fine example of that interdependence that I just spoke about. This monument shows that not only do we stand alongside one another in combat overseas, but also at home, when we honor the service and sacrifice that we've made on each other's behalf. I'd like to close with a poem by John Gillespie McGee Jr. Some of you probably know it. It's called High Flight. Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter's silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up, the lawn delirious burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent lifting mind, I've trod the high untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.